there's bitterness there. And that this tree is in you. It's possible. If it is, how do we deal with it? How do we not become a bitter person? How do we get down to the roots and just absolutely eradicate bitterness from our lives? Does anybody recognize this beautiful flower? Yeah. Yeah, I'm convinced that the only difference between a flower and a weed is flowers are hard to grow and weeds are easy. Yeah. I guess the only difference, that's how they categorize them. Hard to grow flower, easy to grow weed. As Dana, I remember when I was in grade school in the late 1960s, feel free to calculate how old you think I am, that there was this yard next to this farmhouse that my family rented, and the landowner, Mr. Lathers, paid me too large to mow it. Back then, large was $1. I got $2 for mowing that, and I thought that was more money than I could possibly imagine. And I remember that one plot of land, it began to grow more dandelions than grass. And Mr. Lathers would come to me and say, if you get rid of those dandelions, I'll pay you a bonus. And I remember thinking, you know what, I'll just set the mower down lower, and I'll mow those things, and that'll take care of it once for all. And I mowed that thing, and then I raked it, and there wasn't a dandelion, there wasn't yellow anywhere in that yard. And I'm thinking, man, I earned my money. It wasn't the next day. I'm like, what? It's like there were hundreds of dandelions again. I gotta just mow that thing. And that's when Mr. Lathers introduced me to this tool. I don't know if you recognize it. But this right here is a weeder. And he said, if you really want to get rid of those dandelions, you got to take something like this out there, and you got to dig it down, and you got to pull it up by the roots, because if you don't get the root, it's just going to keep coming back. And I went out there with my little weeder, and it took me weeks. But I just started getting those dandelions out by the root, and I got a nice little bonus for doing it. And I know now we just spray. But you still got to have the right tool, because if you don't get to the root, it just comes back down there. And there are so many things that people might suggest to us that we need to do in order to eradicate the dandelions, but whatever those tools are, they often don't get to the root. You see, we have got to find some way that we can kill off the root of bitterness in our life, and there's only one tool that can do it. Would you like to know what it is? You're not going to like it. It's called forgiveness.